You guys remember Kat Kerr, right? I've talked about her before. Well, she's got some really interesting ideas to present to us. It turns out there's a group of people out there that Kat Kerr isn't a huge fan of. So let's give this clip a listen. This one came out early February 2022. I guess this is where she draws her logic line. Check it out.
And they have people pour millions of dollars into this flat earth society. It just used to be the flat earth theory. I guess when a bunch of people, men, got together and decided it was so important, they'd actually name it a society so it'd have a name. There literally are people, some even well-known people, or rich people.
Wow, dude. You hear what she just said? Let me step back a little bit here. What was that? Say again, Kat Kerr.
I guess when a bunch of people, men, got together and
when a bunch of men got together, suddenly an idea she doesn't like is enough to turn a deep evangelical Trump supporter into a feminist. Isn't that funny? Suddenly she has a problem with the fact that men started the Flat Earth Society. That is something else, man.
There literally are people, some even well-known people, or rich people who have become a part of this thing. They could be made to feel special. They're contributing to what they call as truth. It's nothing but a distraction from Satan.
I love it. So she doesn't like this group, I guess, huh? We found a group that is a little too crazy for Kat Kerr. Flat Earthers. Goes a little too far for her. How about that?
But Jesus laughs every time they hear the earth is really flat. Because you know the word made everything. Jesus made this earth. He knows it's round. Okay, let's say here's the flat earth, right? And
oh, we're into demonstration territory. What are these, peacock feathers on your flat earth here?
Right? And there's pilots going around this flat earth. So I guess when they get to the edge, they just flip it all so they can continue over to the other side of the flat earth to get where they're going. So, I mean, there are some things that are so ridiculous for people just to waste their time on.
Oh, she went down a rabbit hole. She went down a YouTube rabbit hole or something like that. That's funny, man. And apparently Steve Schultz is on board with this. I'm honestly surprised. I'm sure if you watch my channel, you're fully aware of the types of ideas that these people espouse. Flat Earth is one of the more reasonable ideas that these people espouse, that these people stick to, really. Some of the ideas these people push out to the world are completely unhinged from reality. One more thing I wanted to make note of here. I find it interesting. She's got this little pin here. I don't do demons. That's weird. She had that pin, right? Because I was just looking at this clip earlier, and I noticed that Robin Bullock here has one too. I don't do demons. Interesting. What does that mean? I mean, Robin Bullock was just talking about how he does like exorcisms and stuff, and that's how he was even capable of identifying that Biden has a demon in him, because he could hear him speaking in a demon's voice, and he knew it. He knew the sound of the demon.
He leaned into the mic and told President Trump, "We're coming for you." And he growled out this demonic sound. I can't make the sound, but it was this demonic voice. I've heard him make it again recently. And he growled this out.
So I'm really not sure why either of them are wearing "I don't do demons" pins, because both of them have claimed to have performed exorcisms. That's kind of weird, right?
But the earth is not flat. It is beautifully round. Heaven is a beautifully round sphere. It's a sphere.
Heaven is a beautifully round sphere. Is that what she said? Heaven?
Heaven is a beautifully round sphere. It's a sphere. It is not a flat anything. Okay, so don't worry about falling off the edge. You're okay.
Okay. Okay. Heaven is a sphere, and so is the earth, and you're a fool if you think otherwise. Now I know. Now I know. Thank you, Kat Kerr, for clearing that up. I'm glad we have Kat Kerr to weigh in on the flat earth debate because, you know, set people straight. That's really good. If you guys are unfamiliar with who this woman is, let me give you a little bit of a backstory for her. Do you guys remember this clip from 2019?
So right now, at this moment, we take authority over Dorian that has no right off the coast of this state or anywhere. And we hit that storm to the east right now. And I'm going to do it 3 times. We hit it to the east. We hit it to the east and command it. You go to the east, out away from land. We declare you would do no destruction in any way. won't tolerate it.
That was Kat Kerr, weather warrior extraordinaire. That's kind of the clip that got her really famous a while back in 2019. This is the clip that really boosted her into the public spotlight. This isn't even the first or the last time she claimed to be able to control hurricanes with her little stick and with God's blessing. Let me give you a little bit more historical context on this person. She's not just a weather warrior. Yes, this is the thing that kind of propelled her to fame, but she made an awful lot of claims about Donald Trump winning the election. She explicitly and specifically said Donald Trump is going to win the 2020 election in a landslide. Those were her words. So when he lost, what happened? How did she react when he lost? This is after the inauguration, late January 2021. Check this clip out.
I say this is my land, and these are my people.
She's speaking for God. These are God's words coming out of her mouth, as though she's writing a new book to the Bible. The book of Kerr, chapter 2, verse 3 kind of thing. She is speaking God's words to us.
And I have raised them up for such a time as this. My people have prayed. They have fasted. They have called on my name, and I will not turn a deaf ear unto them. But to the lost, to the wicked, to those who chose to cheat and steal and lie, they shall have every curse come upon them that they have spoken over my president, Donald J. Trump. I say he is the president. He won. And in 2021, you will see that he won. And I say I will replace the one who boldly dares to step upon the platform of my country and say it is his.
That is just too on the nose. I love it. In 2021, you will see that Donald Trump won the election. Well, how about that? Here we are, 2022, and he's still not the president. She made specific claims, not predictions, prophecies, that God told her Donald Trump was going to be the president again in 2021. That was her claim, in 2021. And here we are. Biden's still the president. How about that? Obviously, she was not very happy with what happened with the election. She was not very happy with the fact that she was completely and utterly incorrect about her claims. I sure as heck was happy about it, though. I find it endlessly entertaining to watch her completely lose it over the fact that she put herself in this position by prophesying God told her that Trump would be the president. And now she has to walk that back, come up with explanations. I love it. I love it to death. After the inauguration, QAnon kind of came up with this idea that Donald Trump was going to be inaugurated in as the real president of the United States in March 4th. And the idea behind it is kind of convoluted, so I won't get into it too deeply, but basically QAnon claimed that the United States during Reconstruction, like after the Confederacy and the Union rejoined after the Civil War, they rejoined into a corporation, not into a new government. The claim is that any laws that were passed after it formed into that corporation, basically any laws passed after the Confederacy rejoined the Union, are null and void. Any presidents that were elected during that time, anything at all that happened after like the, what was it, 1864, 1865, I think? Anything after that is null and void and doesn't count. Well, it just so happens that Inauguration Day was changed from March 4th to January 20th, I believe, sometime in the early 1900s. So they claimed that Inauguration Day is actually on March 4th, not on January 20th. And that's how they get around this whole idea that Biden was inaugurated on January 20th. Well, it wasn't a real inauguration. You got to wait for March 4th. And they were actually out there claiming Donald Trump is going to be inaugurated as the real president of the real United States, not this corporation. Complete nonsense, by the way, as if I have to say that. It's complete nonsense. They claimed he was going to be inaugurated on March 4th as the real president. So, early March 2021, Kat Kerr comes out in preparation for the big day when Trump is going to be inaugurated as the real president of the United States. She has some words for the country. Listen to this.
Right now, I declare.
That stick is absolutely on point. I say that every time I see her waving it around, but it is the best. I am so glad she has this thing out here.
And I call forth our president to take his rightful place. Trump, to come forth right now, step into your destiny that God gave you, called you, appointed you, and anointed you for this time to declare over America, to help America. This is his choice, and we call you forth right now in the name of Jesus Christ, who is with you, who will always be with you. The people are with you. The prophets of God are with you. The military is with you. So come forth, step into your destiny now, saith the Lord.
She claims to be speaking for God here, saith the Lord. She claims to be using the words of God himself to communicate with Donald Trump. She is trying to get Donald Trump to walk into the White House right now and take control of things. I mean, this is early March 2021 is when she was expecting this to take place. Of course, she was wrong. That was never going to happen. That is not how it works. But I want to lay some groundwork for you here. She's a member of QAnon. She's a believer of the conspiracy. That's important knowledge to have going into the next video because it explains a few things. Check out this clip, early February 2022, brand new clip. Wanted to give it a watch because she had something really interesting to say at this conference.
And so people do still share their testimonies. They have events all over heaven in these huge places, some inside, some outside. People want to really hear the testimony of the life of somebody who was here on earth. And when somebody new arrives, everybody wants to hear them.
For the record, she believes that she travels to heaven on a regular basis and talks to God and sits with him and paints his picture and touches his hair and eats his food and hangs out in his mansion and goes to Jesus Christ's birthday parties and the whole 9 yards. She believes all of this stuff takes place. Of course, the only place it happens really is in her head, but she won't accept that as a fact. So she likes to get on stage and describe things that she sees in heaven. Keep listening.
They do. They want to hear what it was like. How did they feel when they stepped out of that physical body with their spiritual body into life itself, into the presence of God, and then their journey. All the way. I've been speaking a lot. All the way back to heaven from Earth. You get to go on a journey. You go through the planets, the nebulas. You go on the rings of Saturn, not the real Saturn, not the fake one that Satan's made.
I'm sorry? What? The fake Saturn that Satan's made? What was that? What did you just say? Please repeat, Cat Kerr.
You go on the rings of Saturn, not the real Saturn, not the fake one that Satan's made.
What? Where is this coming from? This is weird, right? I didn't know there was a fake Saturn. Well, check this out. You guys remember the QAnon shaman, big dude that had the horns and the whole 9 yards at the January 6th event? This guy, Channel 5 News on YouTube, this guy interviewed him. His name was Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman. And he kind of gets into this idea a little bit. This idea that Cat Kerr was just espousing about the fake Saturn and the real Saturn. Listen to this. Listen to Jacob Chansley, QAnon shaman, explain the difference here.
There's another faction within the ancient Egyptian hierarchy, and that would be like the people that worship Set. And Set is like the ancient Egyptian form of Satan. Okay, so Satan worship and Saturn worship are one and the same thing. And so there was this ancient form of Saturn worship in ancient Egypt, where what they would do is instead of consuming large amounts of psychoactive plants, which they did do on occasion, but what they did more than anything is they used things like, say, Hebrew children or children of slaves to do these satanic ceremonies of blood sacrifice.
Joshua Lee, Saturn, as well as most of the solar system, was named after Roman gods, not Egyptian. These guys just pick and choose everything, huh? Absolutely. They absolutely do. That is a point that I didn't even consider. Thank you for that. Yeah, they just pick and choose. Doesn't matter to them. Logic, reason, facts, rationality, it's all relative. Doesn't mean anything to them, honestly. This is all foundational conspiracy, belief systems. This is all foundational to the belief system. None of this really comes as a surprise to me. that he's saying all of this. This is one of the truest believers that are out there, honestly. But think about what this guy's saying, because all of this stuff, this is, for the most part, stuff that Kat Kerr has fully bought into. Keep listening. This is his explanation of Saturn.
When you say they worship Saturn, are you talking about the planet?
Yes. Satan worship and Saturn worship are one and the same.
Is it just because they sound similar, or is there a connection?
No. We're talking people that understand the intricacies of astrology, interconnectivity, or what is called quantum entanglement in the quantum field, or the way that electromagnetic fields are nested, and when you contribute certain energies to a certain electromagnetic field, there are certain effects that happen within the ecosystem or within the electromagnetic nested ball of yarn, shall we say.
Ball of yarn, nested ball of yarn, shall we say. That totally makes sense. That checks out. Basically, whenever somebody says the word quantum, unless it's an actual scientist who knows what the word means, I check out. I have accepted pretty much anything they say after the word quantum or quantum entanglement or whatever else is going to be nonsense unless they actually know what they're talking about and are studied in the field. So needless to say, Saturn worship is heavily ingrained in the QAnon belief system. They seem to have this idea that like Satan worship and Saturn worship, the planet, are basically the same thing, that Satan is Saturn, Saturn is Satan. And Kat Kerr's little bit there that she said about the real Saturn and not the fake one that Satan created. Listen again.
You get to go on a journey. You go through the planets, the nebulas. You go on the rings of Saturn.
Okay, so right here, let's pause here. She's talking about some whimsical fantasy land that she likes to live in, where she likes to float through space and talk to God and touch his hair and take pictures of angels and jump in bouncy castles at Jesus' birthday party. All this whimsical stuff that she always talks about, she's adding to it. She can't wait to float through the rings of Saturn here. And then she remembers, wait, Saturn is part of my belief system in another way.
Not the real Saturn, not the fake one that Satan's made.
Oh, yeah. Saturn is supposed to be Satan, actually, because Satan worshippers actually worship Saturn. Right. Got to pull the belief system together here for a second. Isn't it fascinating how she starts off with one idea and works her way to another idea and finds a way to integrate them in like some kind of a nonsensical way almost? Like, nothing that she's saying here is adding up at all, but she accepts the belief system as it is anyways. For good measure, let me just round off the idea that you have about Kat Kerr. Let me round out your understanding of this person with one more clip. She had something to say about Pokemon, and I know I have a lot of Pokemon fans in my audience, so give this clip a listen. Early December 2021.
We moved into a home. We leased a home for a while, and not this one here. And we went in, and we are a family who's understood. You don't fight or argue, or you're not going to tear each other apart. We moved in, and every one of us were tearing each other up. And we said, something is in this house. It wasn't before then, it was empty.
Couldn't possibly be the stress of moving, right? All the stress of having to make sure everything comes together, go to a new school district, make sure you have all your stuff, make sure your clothes are clean. All this stuff is going through your head while you're moving to a new area or moving into a new house even. Couldn't have been that. Couldn't have been, right? Logical explanation is it's something related to the spirit realm. Wonder what it could be.
The house was empty, but we went, nope, we're going to go ahead and pray and annoy stuff, but it still kept going on. I said, then there's something in one of the rooms. So we assigned everybody a room. They went everywhere in the closets, and in one of the kids' closets, in the floorboard, forget the molding on the floor around the walls, was a Pokemon card.
That is so incredibly sad. Really. People have been blaming Pokemon for way too much for way too long. Just add this one to the stack. I covered a couple of videos actually a while back about two different pastors going hard at Pokemon back in the 90s, in the 2000s. It's absolutely ridiculous. Some of the logical leaps they made were completely unjustified. They were absurd.
The spiral. And it stands for what? Male fertility. It's supposed to be able to mesmerize and hypnotize its enemies. This character over here is called Mewtwo. Every time that you see Mewtwo, he's in this pose. 3 fingers. It means hail Satan. Cute little one. Everybody, okay, everybody go, oh, come on. His tail. It's a lightning bolt. And it's the Satanic Z. The Pokemon trading card game is a new collectible card game that is made and distributed by Wizards of the Coast. What is a wizard? Male practitioner of black magic. You don't need mom. You don't need dad. You don't need grandparents. You don't need aunts and uncles. You don't need school. And you probably don't even need a church. Because you're a master.
I mean, I just talked about Greg Locke burning books and like Disney related things, like Disney backpacks, Disney cups, Disney all kinds of stuff, because he believed them to be evil. How sad is this? This is like the only thing in these people's heads. It's all about how Pokemon is affecting your life. Cat Kerr, Weather Warrior, has gone completely off the deep end at this point. Joshua Lee, the funny thing is that quite a few flat earthers are zealous Christians. They claim that the creation story supports it, as they talk a lot about the firmament. Yeah, absolutely, that's true. Which is why it kind of knocked my socks off that Cat Kerr, of all people, has a problem with flat earthers. I mean, Cat Kerr? I'm honestly surprised. I would have pegged her as somebody that would, like, buy into it a little bit. But no. I guess she's, like, morally offended by it or something.